Hey guys, welcome back to Say What Wednesday. I know I missed last week and trust me, it was really hard for me, but I needed a break. Like legit needed a break. I have been doing so much, I've been working a lot, and I just wasn't feeling the whole filming process. So I'm back today and I'm going to show you guys how to blend your shadow like a pro. Sounds good? Yeah? Cool. So I'm going to be doing this look for you guys, and I will tell you right now that the mascara I have on is by YSL, and I just got it from this website called Influencer. I signed up some time ago and they'll send me things that I can try out and review, and this is probably by far the best thing that they've ever sent me. It's such a pretty mascara. I used my primer with it, and then I went in with the mascara, which is why it looks so intense and blue, and I just thought it would look really pretty with a brown smoky eye. So I hope that you guys find this really helpful, and I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, you are going to need a skin tone shadow, a transition shadow, and then a lid shadow. That's exactly what I have on today, and the tools that you will need are a flat brush like this to pack on color, a dense dome-shaped brush for placement of the crease color and some blending, and two blending brushes, one that you will use to blend whatever color placement or whatever color that you've placed on your crease in your eye, and then a clean one for more of a neutral, skin tone shade color, and then just to kind of buff out everything else to make sure that it's really pretty and smooth. So you may also want to have a towel or paper towel on hand so that you can spot clean brushes and not have to pull so many. I use the Sephora Color Switch by Veramona, and it just looks like this. So that's that. You guys will see that I'll talk a little bit more about that in the video. I hope that you enjoy this, and I will talk to you after. Bye. Okay, so as you guys can see, I have already done this eye, and basically I'm going to show you guys how to blend your eyeshadow like a pro. So the first thing I'm going to tell you guys is you always need a primer. There are a lot of people, including myself, who start off doing makeup and feel like you don't need a primer. The reality is you do. So what I use today is this Paint Pot by MAC in Laying Low, and I really love this color because I feel like it's the perfect nude shade. Soft Ochre is a great one also, but I feel like this has a little bit more of a neutral tone. It's not as loud. And I will tell you guys that after I applied that paint pot, I took just a little bit of my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and just dusted it over my eye. Why did I do that? Because that is a cream product, and if I place my shadows on top of that, it could be a bit streaky. So I want it to be very smooth so that everything blends out like a dream. So today, to show you guys, I'm going to be using the Tartelette in Bloom palette. And what you will need for this look is a few things. The first thing you're going to need is a fluffy shadow brush like this one. This is just a great brush for blending your makeup out. It's, as you guys can see, it's very fluffy. It's not going to pack a lot of color. It's just going to give you a nice even application of a shadow. So I'm going to start off with another must, and that is something that's very similar to your skin tone. I'm using this color here, which is Charmer, with my fluffy brush, and I'm going to take this shadow and I'm just going to place it all over my lid. And again, even though I applied the setting powder, I want something that will make sure that my shadow blends. So even though there's a powder on top of it, it's okay to add another layer of it just to make sure that everything looks really smooth and even. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need is another blending brush, but something that's a little bit more dense, like this. You guys know this is my favorite. This is the MAC 221. And this brush we're going to use for our crease. And I'm going to take the shade Rebel. This is another must. You want a color in your crease that'll help blend whatever else you put on, and that's going to serve as our transition shade. So what that means is that this shade is going to help blend any other color that we put in our crease, which is that. So let's go ahead and continue to build this. You can be as light-handed or as heavy-handed as you want with this shade. Clearly, the heavier handed you are, the more intense the color is going to be. And I like to just take whatever's left and bring it to the inner and outer corner. And when I start, I like to just kind of start at the, almost like almost at the end of the eye, just right here, right before my eye ends, and then just place that color and rock it back and forth. And you're gonna go in with your blending color, or I'm sorry, brush, and we're just going to blend that. The difference between these two brushes is that this one is going to pack color, and it's going to make that color visible and really intense, whereas this is going to sheer your shadow out, and it's going to help blend it and just make it look smoother. So this is not necessarily a blending brush. You could use it for that. This is more for placement. Something fluffy is more for blending. The next thing you're going to need is a flat dome-shaped brush. Not dome-shaped, I lied. The next thing you're going to need is a flat brush like this one. This is a MAC 239. As you guys know, it's one of my favorites. You could use something like the MAC 242 or something that's just paddle shaped. I personally love the 239 because I feel like anyone can use it. Anyone with a small lid space, anyone with a larger lid space. I think mine is more of a medium. And then you want your primary lid color. It could be any color you want, but for the sake of showing you guys, I'm going to take this color here, which is a really deep brown. It's almost black, and it's the shade Activist. So I'm just going to take this color and I'm going to pack it on with my 239. And as you guys can see, it's very pigmented, and a lot of it is the brush. The shadows are really great quality, clearly, but the 239 or anything that's small and really dense and very packed is going to deposit a lot of color. So this is not going to blend the shadow out. This is going to place the color. And even as I rock it back and forth, all I'm doing is just taking the tip of the brush and just kind of carving my eye out. And I'm going to take my 221. Again, this is for placing color. And I'm going to go in with Rebel again, which is this shade here. And I'm going to take that color again, and I'm just going to start blending the crease out and adding more of that warmer brown. So the reason why I do this is because if you just leave the color the way it was, it looks very harsh. And you want to make sure that everything looks very smooth and that everything is blending out well. So again, I'm just taking Rebel and just rocking that back and forth so that we don't lose the very warmth of that color. I'm going to take the 239 and that dark brown color again, and I'm just going to pack it where I feel like the color is sheer, because I want a very intense look. This is going to be a lot of going back and forth, guys. I'm taking my blending color, or I'm sorry, my blending brush again, and I am just blending that crease out. And as you guys can see, as I do that, I kind of shear out other areas. So I'm taking that my 239 and just going over those really sheer areas so that it's very pigmented and rich. I want a clean blending brush. I find that the biggest mistake I was making when I started to do makeup was blending with the same dirty brushes. So taking these guys and going back and forth with the same, you know, color placement, and then I would just not get a very smooth, blown out, you know, look like this. I would get something that still looked a little choppy. And it's because I was basically taking the product that was already on those brushes, the pigment, and just blending it back and forth. So you want a clean brush. This is clean. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take Rebel again, and I'm going to just lightly go over that again. Now, what I will tell you guys is you don't need to say, you know, grab a new brush or something that's clean, because then you're going to be washing brushes a little more often than you probably want to. What you do is you just have a tissue or a towel or something that you can run your brush over. I really can't talk today. And that's going to help clean your brushes. On my hand, I'm going to be using here, this is a Sephora Color Switch by Veramona. And I literally just run my brushes through it, and that removes the pigment from the actual brush. And I'm going to go in with that same skin tone, shade, and I'm just going to run that under the brow, and I'm also going to use that to soften any harsh lines. And you're just blending. Okay, I'm gonna take the 239 color or brush again. For whatever reason, this little eye area is patchy, and it's driving me nuts. Okay. There we go. 221, Rebel again. And I'm just lightly buffing out the edges. Cleaning off my brush. As you guys can see, it's clean. And I'm just adding that warm brown again to the outer edges of where I placed my shadow, the dark shadow. And I'm cleaning my brushes, and I'm going to use my fluffy brush, and I'm going to take Rebel again, which is that mauvey pinky brown, and I'm blending. Now you're probably wondering why I keep blending with different brushes, because I was just blending with the 221, and now I'm going in with this fluffy brush I bought at Marshall's years ago. And let me tell you what I'm doing. This is not a blending brush again. This is for color placement. So when I go in with that warm brown, I'm just placing the color where I want it. With this brush, I am literally blending out the brown. Off that fluffy brush, my Marshall's brush, and I'm going to take again the skin tone shade color, and I'm just going to place that color again under my brow, and then I'm using this to buff out the edges. A lot of people wonder, was that necessary? Yes, it is necessary, because if you don't place anything under the brow, it'll look like bare skin. And by taking the skin tone shade color, you're no longer adding any additional shade to what you've already placed. You're just softening the edges, in case you were wondering. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take an eyeliner. You don't need to do this. This is just for my own personal preference. And I'm just going to run this through the lower lash line. And this is the final look, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if this was helpful to you guys. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.